chips. When do we want them? Now. Chips. What do we want? We want chips. When do we want them? Now. Chips. What do we want? Chips, 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 chips. Chips are my favorite, if not every day. A portion of chips makes a bad day. Okay. You won't believe it. Chips. What do we want? We want chips. When do we want them? Now. Chips. What do we want? We want chips. When do we want them? Now. Chips. What do we want? Chips, 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 chips. Oh no, not cabbage, please. Good, keep that properly.
As it's book week, here's another book idea from Liz.
Right now, I'm going to show you how to make a couple of different types of flip books.
Wow, now I am excited.
You need 2 pieces of paper and some sticky notes, like this. Take your piece of paper, fold it in half, run your finger down the end, and then turn it over like it's a book. You've got to do your drawing closer to the corner of the paper. That's because when you're trying to do the flicking, if you do it in the middle, it's going to be very difficult to do, like that.
Got it. Thanks, Liz.
I'm just going to draw Tom's face.
Amazing.
So what you're actually doing here is drawing your second picture, the one with the expression on. You're doing that first before you do the other picture. I'm using a permanent marker, so be careful with your fingers. Do put something underneath the table if you are using a permanent marker. If you draw like a really big expression, that will give you much more of a contrast, and I'll show you next. So we've drawn Tom with a very big expression. Now if you put the paper down, you could see roughly through the paper, and now I'm going to draw Tom again, but then change his expression. Keep everything the same, nose the same. The things I'm going to change are his eyes and his mouth. Tom just smiling. Right, let's see how that works. And you just hold it and you can flick it like that. That works, I think. So you could try all different types of expressions. You could make his hair go up, you could do a monster.
Awesome.
I might try another one now. Let's try a bug. So don't forget, draw at the top end of the paper so that you can hold it and flick it. With his arms up in the air and his legs, maybe give him some fur. Going to take a pencil, add a little bit of shadow like that and some lines so he looks like he's jumping up. Just see him there. So I need to move him down a little bit because obviously he's jumping up. Try to change things a little bit. Might just add a little bit of shadow there. Right, let's see how that works. So you can make very simple animations like that. That's basically what animation is. It's just doing lots of those drawings and just changing everything just a tiny bit. So another thing you can do, if you want to make slightly longer animation, I'm going to use this sticky note pad. You can already see I've drawn Mr Fullerman. A bunch of Mr Fullermans, one after the other, exactly the same, but I'm missing out his eyes and any expressions really. So his mouth is the same, I've drawn him the same. I'm not moving Mr Fullerman around, so I'm just going to draw the last 3 Mr Fullermans on top so you can see how I did it. You can see through underneath, so it's the same as the paper. So I'm just drawing Mr Fullerman exactly the same. Another one. Like that. Right, now I've done those, I'm going to go right back to the beginning and I'm going to add a fly and then make Mr Fullerman's eyes follow them all the way around, and the fly will go into different places and that's what's going to move.
Great stuff.
Every time you do a drawing, you just move the fly just a little bit over. So So I'm making Mr Fullerman's eyes follow the fly and then go in different directions as well. So he's going cross-eyed. So every time I do something, I'm just moving it a little bit. So you just draw it in a slightly different place than it was before, and you should be able to see what you've drawn underneath. And we'll leave Mr Fullerman's mouth wide open. Mr Fullerman's gone cross-eyed. Need to make the fly disappear now. Let's leave Mr Fullerman like that. Whew, that took a while. That's why it's quite a good idea, if you're going to do a flip book, choose something simple to draw, because you're going to be doing a lot of drawings. Shall we see if that works? But you could do all kinds of things. You could do bugs, you could do monsters, just a face, just something really simple. Make your own animation.
Play it! Can you spot the empty wafer wrapper? Here we go. Keep your eyes peeled. Oh, uh-oh. Which one is it? Ha! Did you spot it? If you look carefully, there are a couple of clues. Rewind, please. There's a little dent on the one that isn't full of yummy chocolate, and a little curl on the wrapper where I wrapped it back up. Ha-ha! See? And the best thing is, you get to eat the wafer inside. Draw it! It's Liz. She writes and draws all the Tom Gates books.
Right now, I'm going to show you how to do a wax resist doodle.
Amazing.
All you need is a piece of paper, some paint, water, paint brushes, and you also need something to put underneath. You don't want to get the table messy. So I've got a bit of tissue here. You also need an oil pastel or a wax crayon. Either will do, but you just need something to be able to draw with.
Got it. Thanks, Liz.
I'm going to draw on the white paper. You won't see very much. Let's just start here. Get a nice surprise at the end. If I look down like that, I can just about see what I'm drawing. I know you can't see anything, but it's getting there. I think that's done. You can just about, maybe one more there. There you are. So when you've done that, mix up some watercolour, and it has to be watercolour. So you could use poster paint as well, that will probably work. Mix it up with some water. I'm going to use this nice big thick paintbrush here, and I've already got some mixed up. I'm using a nice dark colour. If you use a dark colour, then you'll see the wax really stands out. Bit of water. Do a tester first. Just see just on this bit here. I think it's going to work. So you need it to be quite liquidy. There we are. So where I've drawn, the water is resisting, so you actually get to see the wax coming through.
Oh, I see.
I love this bit. It's like magic painting. If you think you've put too much paint on, you can always take a little bit of tissue. You can just dab it off. If you use paper that's quite thick as well, that helps, because you're going to be putting a lot of water on it.
Good tip.
Now can you see why it's best to have a dark colour as well? really stands out. It's nice because these are the same doodle patterns that you might see on the books, but just done in a very different way. Right, there you go, finished, all done. What do you think? I think it looks great. And you could try doing a monster, you could do more doodles, make up your own patterns. It's just a different technique and it's a different way of doing doodles. So I hope you have fun trying that out.
Thanks, Liz. That was great. Why don't you give it a go? Make it! This is how to make your very own pesky cat. You will need some air drying clay, some toothpicks,
Be careful with toothpicks.
and a pen. And a glue stick? Sorry. Maybe next time. Alright. There we go. That's everything you need. Got all of that yet? Great. Take your clay, cut it in half. Take a small piece off one side and save it for later. Use your hands to roll each side into a ball. Use the smaller ball to make a head. Pinch the clay between your fingers to make the ears. Pinch off a small piece of clay to make the nose. Grab a toothpick
Be careful with toothpicks.
and draw a mouth. Bring back the other ball. Yep, that's the body. Remember the clay you saved for later? Roll it up and you've got a tail. Okay, now it's time to let your cat dry. Check the clay instructions to see how long it needs. Usually overnight or a few hours. Right, take your pen, colour in the nose, draw a little line to his mouth, 2 eyes, eyebrows, ears, and of course, some whiskers. Awesome, I love it. And if your cat is feeling lonely, you can always make some cat friends. Or even try a clay monster.